Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you. Justin Elliot, CTO of Wrth, and at Wrth we are building the AI native operating system for real world assets. So what does that mean? Things like watches, sneakers, jewelry, art, wine, collectibles that move like stocks, right? So those businesses, they're managing 7, 8, or 9 figures worth of inventory, and they're on spreadsheets for the most part, right? Or they're using 7 or 8 different systems that don't talk to each other. And what we're going to go over today is how I think about anything that I'm building. What are the workflows? What are the tools that you need to make it make sense? More so the framework versus the tools, because in this ever-changing landscape of AI, the tools leapfrog each other every day, right? My thing that I want you guys to walk away with is that the best tool is your thinking, right? The best tool is your framework, because once you build the framework, you don't rely on any specific tool, right? You understand what the workflow is supposed to be, what the outcome is supposed to be, and use the right tool for the right time. How many people are already using like co-work or have some kind of tools that you're using besides just a single chat?
So, I'll say, I'm a consultant, so I work as essentially project management for healthcare companies like health tech. So, I'm looking for different ways to streamline our processes that have different teams, different projects. So, we have access to Microsoft Copilot, things like that. So, I'm looking to figure out how I can get a grasp of all the AI available to be more efficient.
Now I've actually used several LLMs to curate my ideas, and I just recently brought into Claude the whole concept that I want to build. I want to do like a Web3 ecosystem, and I noticed that Claude has the power to actually code smart contracts and NFT, as well as make sure that all of the legal governance are put in place for attorney and everything like that.
Out of everything that we just heard, it goes back to what my main framework is, right? So the main framework is always context first, right? Because whether you are in the healthcare space and you're talking to them, or you're in the Web3 space talking about the contracts, or you're trying to figure out what you want to do, in order to have the best tech stack, it starts with context. So like, what is the workflow supposed to look like? And then it's like, what are the things that you would trust, like somebody that isn't an expert to do, have AI do that, right? But then stuff that like would require expert, like set it for review, right? Like you wouldn't just have it send the patient the results, right? Or say like, okay, this is your long lost sister, that like, no, like you actually will need to fact check it, right? And you need to put those kind of things in place, because AI will hallucinate, right? And we'll get stuff wrong all the time.
Hours, we can put it in an AI platform and get it done in 15 minutes. But we already know what that outcome is. So when someone says, well, what do you think? Is it right? I said, well, I already knew what the numbers should be, but I just need to be able to do it faster. And that's what, if you know what the outcome is, all you want to do is save time. And that's what it does, is really save your time.
For the most part, if you're using these tools, you don't want them to be the one that's like confirming and sending, right? It's like, if you have a tool that's drafting your emails, don't let it send it out, right? Like actually read it, right? Send it to draft, right? If it's doing legal documents, like just don't say, okay, it's cool. Like, I don't know what the legal documents are supposed to say, right? Like sometimes I'll have my tools, like even though it's trained on my data and it says stuff, it might pull something that we changed 6 weeks ago, right? But if I would have sent that out, it would have messed something up because I didn't read it, right? So like these tools get things wrong just like people get things wrong. Have that check, right? So like there's certain things that you definitely want to have that human in the loop and that final sign off.
So for human in the loop, you said actually read it. If you don't want to read it, at least take the time to change the punctuation and delete the hyphens. Because people will not answer you, not because you use AI, just because they think that you didn't take the time to at least read what you're sending to me. So that's why your education that does not have this punctuation, you left them. So they're not reading it not because you used AI, but because the fact that you left the punctuation off with those hyphens states that you most likely didn't even read what your assistant is saying.
In plain terms, right? You want to know the tools that you're using and what that means, right? So Where does your data go? So you want to know all these tools, are they training their models based off your data, or does that data stay with you, right? Like they've done experiments where they'll put a proposal into ChatGPT that somebody actually drafted, not using AI, right? Their own proposal, put it into ChatGPT, and somebody will ask a question to draft a proposal, and a similar proposal will come right back out. So you want to think about that when you're using these tools to do your planning and giving it your whole business and your thoughts. It's like, okay, now if your competitors are using this tool, are they just going to get your information now because you just gave it to them, right? So you want to understand the tools that you're using and how you're using them. The way that we think, our memories, the way that we're able to access information, right? So if you're trying to think about what it is that you want to work on, you want to start from a space that you have the context, you have the information, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, right? Because you understand what that's actually supposed to look like at the end result, and there's no tools that are good for that specific problem, go do that, right? So like if anybody's in here trying to figure out what the next thing that it is that they're trying to work on, think about those type of things, right? Don't think about the shiny ball syndrome, because you're not gonna be able to compete, right? You're not gonna be able to compete with people that know what the end result is supposed to look like just because you have the AI tools, because they have the same AI tools, right? And their context and their programming, their workflow from an understanding is gonna be way better than yours.